Hey, buddy! I saw you on the news earlier today. Congrats on the reveal, buddy. Oh, nice. And how'd the facial surgery go? Oh, that's fair. Hey, don't worry about it, man. You'll get used to having your eyes closer to each other eventually. Anyway, let me know when the next Smash Brothers comes out. Bye!
I didn't even make that connection, but you're right. They do. He does share a similar eye structure to Sonic now.
For those wondering when this was recorded, there you go. That's why Sonic had that good talk with his old pal Donkey Kong.
Huh.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, now it is working. Thank goodness. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Doug very gratefully showed up. Gratefully, Jesus, that is if he's always the same thing. Doug very incredibly shown off.
It sounds like you're downplaying me, buddy.
Doug did an incredible job with Shot Generations. James wants his redemption.
What do you mean by redemption? I never actually... Okay, redemption in one sense, because we were supposed to start recording this yesterday. But then Denuvo had to be stupid, and I had to look into fixing that. And, well, thankfully, it's all been fixed. We're here to celebrate Sonic's 20th birthday, about a good 15 years later. Or actually, no, around 14. Around 14.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a really hard time finding the right birthday card.
I know. What do you get the guy who gets everything? Maybe I don't know. But for those who have never seen our original run of Sonic Generations,
Probably never will.
and probably never will, potentially, I don't know. The story actually starts off a little, fairly mundanely. We're suddenly going back to before the beginning, with Sonic's old days of yore.
Back in the ye old green hills of the 1990s.
But already jumping from Sonic 1 to this, it's like complete night and day how much graphical fidelity has been improved since then.
It's great.
People can do all the memes they want. Let's not forget how monumental this whole crossing over of the eras was back in 2011.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just such a cool... And it's just... fair enough, yes, it could be a little bit of a, could it be a bit of an ego fluff at times? Sure, but I like the idea of games that celebrate, what got them there in the first place, like this game, or
Wow.
Oh, I'm guessing the Buzz Bomber hit you.
a bit of this game, a bit of Astrobot. I know there's Crash and Spyro Week. I know there are other games like this that are celebrations of the game franchise itself.
Generations has a bit of an excuse to it because, like James said, this was made for Sonic's 20th anniversary, so it has the celebratoriness of it is a bit warranted.
Yeah, and let's not forget that this was, back in the ye old times before he had to change his name to Santiago.
Yes, we need to keep that joke on life support, apparently.
Yahoo!
Yeah, but not to worry. I still got my S rank as was expected, and classic Sonic can go about his day as if nothing bad would ever happen.
What a wonderful day it was. He also didn't have any voice acting, even though apparently the original idea was to have Jaleel White voice him.
Wouldn't that have been something else if they actually did get Jaleel to voice him?
It would have been, yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it is what it is. And what it is this giant behemoth wrecking all of space and time.
So that's what happened back in 1991. Let's fast forward to the magical year of 2011.
Wow. It's a lot more vibrant in these games than I remember nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh.
Guys, what's going on? You having a party or something?
What?
Happy birthday, you blue butt!
You guys.
Oh, it's a wonderful little time.
Well,
They brought cake, they brought chili dogs, they brought chow. It's a fun time all around.
yeah.
Look at them all.
Amy now respects boundaries.
Yeah, that is one thing I will definitely say regarding this updated version of Sonic Generations that I think has pretty much been, memed on or criticized to hell and back. A lot of the script was changed, and very small parts of the in-game cinematics were changed.
Right.
And people have had their problems with it. I definitely have my problems with it a little bit. Does it ruin the entire package, though? Not necessarily, because the most important part about Generations was everything else aside from the story.
Yes.
And that's still here and intact. In fact, the time here is going to show us just what we have to look forward to.
Right, because, the story's pretty, honestly, compared to, Unleashed or even maybe Colors, the story's pretty much a standard, Bad guy is bad. Be the good guy.
Those are my friends.
That's nice.
Ow!
Pathetic.
I'm okay.
I have a special timeout for you.
I love how you said that as he was looking at Tails.
Yep.
And so, with Sonic knocked out cold, he wakes up in white space. Not quite as extravagant as the white space Shadow will get to go through, as you guys have already seen, but all the same, for 2011, it still looked pretty spacious.
A land devoid of time and reason. And a nice little, a nice little self-referential trip down memory lane for the Hedgehog.
Yep. No words need to be spoken, Sonic. We must head to the Yield Green Hills that are now white.
Green Hill's looking a lot more like White Hill.
Ha. And yeah, no words are necessary. Trust me, the writers are already going to start forcing a lot more words into your dialogue later.
Unfortunately. But all the same, now let's go back to what people remember this game most fondly for. Probably the best Boost era gameplay at the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god, it was so good.
I mean, honestly, I would argue that, I'm still going to reserve judgment on Shadow Generation until I get it, but for the time being, I'd still argue that this still is, the best Boost era game that we've had.
And I mean, honestly, as someone who does think that Shadow Generations is an honest to God improvement in a lot of ways, I still think that the original Sonic Generations is still easily one of the best 3D Sonic games.
Yeah.
It still holds up.
It's still one of my favorites. Somebody noted that there are some differences between how Shadow and Sonic control. Like, one's a little bit faster, or one has more, aerial control or something. Do you, Doug, or James feel that at all?
Not necessarily.
What about you, Doug? Since you record all of Shadow Generations for us, from your experience, do you notice any, especially different changes between how Shadow handled here and how Sonic handles here?
Yeah, I've noticed the changes. I'm mainly gonna guess it's mainly due to both of the engines being how they are, really. That's only my thing.
Probably.
That's fair, yeah.
Actually, you know what, now that I fully processed the question, yeah, no, Shadow definitely does control a fair bit more smoothly. Honestly, controlling Shadow and Shadow Gens is kind of like a nice little mix between this and the adventure style, so not too dissimilar to how Sonic already controlled in Frontiers, only a lot more smoother.
That's fair.
I can agree to that, yeah.
But yeah, all the same, whichever Hedgehog you pick, you're still gonna have a pretty good time.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh my gosh, yes. They changed up a little bit of how the boost control works, and it blends the sheer speed of what it blends the sheer speed of what Unleashed gave you, but giving you a lot more control. And I forget, did they make the change of homing attacks and air boosting yet, or is that not till later?
Technically, with Sonic Generations, they were still sticking to what was already pre-established with Unleashed, with the only major difference is that, with the legacy controls, you can still press the jump button twice in order to homing attack.
Uh-huh.
So no double jump.
Okay. Oh, that's true, yeah, no double jump, which Forces and Frontiers did, it spoiled me a little bit on, but I'm still ready to see how this all turns out. So look at that, Sonic, you just... like riding a bike. You run through Green Hill once, you ran through it 7 more times, and the fans are still going to get mad at you for going back 3 more times in your future.
Dun, dun.
Thanks, Sonic. That was awful. I couldn't tell where I was or what had happened. Ugh. Like I was trapped in a nightmare.
Well, you're safe now, and that's what's important.
Being stuck in a white limbo for so long can definitely stretch your vocabulary a little.
This isn't South Island, and all the color and life's been drained from it. Totally.
I forgot that it's called South Island.
No stranger
Yeah.
You need West Island.
genies or saving aliens in an interstellar.
Honestly, I'm amazed that Tails even remembers South Island, considering,
He never was here.
We can start over.
technically speaking, no.
It's funny because that was the joke they made in the original gens, where it's does this place look familiar to you? Not to me.
Back in a flash.
Yeah. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hi, Tails.
That was crazy, Sonic. You weren't kidding. It's like you never left.
Also, why are you my height now?
Yeah, literally.
And why does he look a lot paler?
And then another Sonic arrives because this cutscene's going on a little bit long. Thank you.
And why are you chubbier?
There you go. the silly thing is that technically James just completed Act 2.
Yes.
Yep, because the way that the original Sonic Generations worked is that Act 1 is where you play as classic Sonic, whereas Act 2 you play as modern Sonic. And new to the Sonic X Shadow version of Sonic Generations, there's now Chao you can find hidden throughout all the levels.
Do they replace the red? No, the red rings are still there. So I guess there's new collectibles on top of that.
Yep.
All right.
So I will ask you fellas real quick. Obviously, whenever you rescue someone, dialogue will change depending on which Sonic you were playing as. So, which act do you think we should start first for Chemical Plant?
I say go with Classic Sonic.
All right, stick to tradition.
All right, you got this.
Yeah, I'm more of a tradition guy myself.
That's fair.
All good. And especially considering that, now that they gave modern Sonic more dialogue whenever he saves someone, however much that matters, I guess it's only fair that, unlike how most people used to do it back in the day, where they would always do Act 1 last, we'll do our playthrough with doing the Act 2 portion last.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know people, we're boring.
it makes sense.
Oh no, it's fine. I mean, like, back in the day, it was fun seeing Classic Sonic's reaction to these people he hasn't met yet. Oh, you missed a red ring.
And James, I'm gonna say that you sinned right there. You know that it's rude to have the drop dash in these games, apparently now.
What's funny is that technically it is rude for Classic Sonic to be doing that, because in this port, they treat that as its own,
Oh, it's power up, right?
it's considered a power-up or equipable moveset.
Right. Whereas with modern
yeah.
Sonic, because yes, he has it too, apparently it's just part of his native moveset.
Which is weird to me, thinking about it now.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's fine with classic Sonic because I feel like the drop dash could work in like these more these 2D levels because the move would it complements it.
Climbing, yeah.
But for like the boost era levels where you already have a button that lets you go fast as it is, it just kind of feels unnecessary.
Right.
It really does.
There's just not as much like vertical like platforming gameplay. Like here, there's a lot of it because again, side scroller means they have a lot more room for vertical like climbs, and hence why you would want to have a drop dash. And hey, Angel Chow or Hero Chow.
Hey, Angel Chow. No, that's an Angel Chow.
Okay.
He's looking he's looking a little down considering all the smoke in the air. Here, let me help you out.
Yay. So what happens if you find all the, I assume, the regular Angel and Devil Chow?
Basically, whenever you find a Chow in the levels, you'll see them playing around in the white space. That's really all there is to it. You don't get anything super fancy from saving them all, aside from maybe an achievement.
Yeah, that's really it.
Oh well,
It's mostly there if you want to do it, and I mean, it's just extra busy work at the end of the day.
they're getting close to people wanting to have a Chow
Look,
garden to
he's
get it.
he's dooting as he pleases.
Look at him.
I guess that's a interesting enough segue in that I also remembered loving the music of this. Like, this is before Sonic Mania showed me like other remixes of these classic songs that could be done, but like the soundtrack of Generations, even its 3DS port, are pretty like incredible for what they did.
As I've said before, it's perfectly fine, even if I do think it's not gonna hold a candle to some of the more original stuff that's come out around this era.
There. Also, real talk, one of my favorite modern stages in the game.
Oh yeah, Chemical Plant's fun.
Yeah, this act is pretty fun, even for experimenting with other pathways.
So to Hype and James, because I know Doug already was talking a bit about Shadow Generations at the time. Your preference on which Sonic to play as in these games?
As far as Sonic Gens is concerned, modern.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not quite sure if I have a preference, because there's some levels that I think Classic Sonic does better, some I think Modern Sonic does better, so I think it kind of evens out to where I kind of like them both equally, at least within the context of this game.
Okay.
I just say mostly modern Sonic, because again, it just holds to my opinion that up until Shadow Generations, this was hands down the best that Boost Sonic has ever had.
Oh, absolutely.
That's fair. And Doug, which hedgehog do you prefer to play as, and why is it Shadow?
Fucking Sumer as always.
No, of the two of them. Oh,
Oh, ow.
I'm more of a
nuts.
damn. I'm more of a mix of playing either or, really. I think it also just depends on the stage for me.
Okay.
That's fair.
And a certain remix I want to listen to.
Oh, that's true.
like fucking
Whoa.
Crisis City. Both of them are really good.
Crisis
Oh,
City is actually
absolutely. Like,
this
especially the
actually
classic
made Crisis City
renditions of
work. Is that yeah? It actually made it work. It actually made it really work suddenly.
Yeah.
Others can be a bit better, but I love the Chemical Plant remix in this one.
It's really nice.
Actually, as far as like the
There's a
remixes
hum.
in this game, which one, like between both classic and modern, which ones do you think they have the best ones?
On average, let me see. I'm trying to think about that. I
Like, if you
guess
were to
on
pick- if you were to
average,
pick your
mo-
favorite, if your favorite
boy.
song from a, damn it. Well, there goes my S rank. Oh well.
You were close. You were close. Let's go for it. I would
But yeah,
say
like, what's your favorite classic rendition? What's your favorite modern rendition?
Oh, okay. Well, my favorite classic rendition is definitely what they did with Rooftop Run. Like that is just really fun. And modern rendition, it's a tie between either Sky Sanctuary or City Escape.
Seascape is good. Oh my gosh. Classic. I really like. Sorry. Classic.
It is
Cla-
what it is.
I mean, I still love the music in frickin' Chemical Plant. I do like the modern rendition of Ocean Palace, or what's it called? Ocean Ruins or something?
Seaside Hill.
Seaside Hill.
Do this.
They mix in Ocean Palace and Seaside Hill for modern.
Come first.
Yeah, that one's definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, they removed the line about Tails being nervous about the pink water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's unfortunately a good handful of the witty banter from the original script that was lost in translation, which is funny considering they did preserve a decent amount from it.
Yeah.
Part of it is that. So yeah, the new writing team, they have Ian and the lore,
Ian
like
Flynn
content,
rewrote a lot of the dialogue in this port.
for the continuity.
Me, Sonic. I'll be sure to return the favor next time around.
Not really worrying about that right now, Amy.
Again, it's just stuff like this why I think if you're going to rewrite the script that much, I think it would only be fair that you redo all the animation to fit it.
Because
Yeah.
for the context, do you want to give context, Hype?
Well, because yeah, that's the thing. It's like some of like the cutscenes. It's not as easy to point out, but it's mostly with these like character interactions, where it's like even though they re-record the dialogue and even brought back a lot of the actors on board, well, a lot of the current actors to redub the dialogue, they didn't change like the animations for like some things. And one of the most infamous examples is when you rescue Knuckles. Like in the original game, when he's talking to Classic Sonic, he goes, "Hey, did you gain weight?" And Classic Sonic just like rubs his belly, all ashamed.
round.
With this new version, he's all like, "Thanks for the help. Now tell me, what happened to my island?" But
Where's
they didn't
the rest
change
of my
Classic
island?
Sonic's animation for it, so people joke that Classic Sonic ate Angel Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's what that fancy looking pie was. But yeah, so it removes all the context. Or like what happened there was the reason why Sonic was shaking his head so dismissively was because originally, or in a groaning like "oh brother" kind of way, was because originally Amy's dialogue was once again her at the time shamelessly like, "Okay, now you gotta date me, or we gotta do something like oh
I was
can't
afraid
believe
I wouldn't be
my-"
able to flirt with you again.
Right, like, "oh, my hero" kind of thing. Which, again, Sonic was justified for being like, "oh, brother" about at the time. That was their
Yeah.
character arc. That was their thing. I'm not saying it's right or I even think it's better, but here, because they wanted to, try to buff out some of those parts of Amy's personality, because they didn't change the animation, now it just looks like Sonic is, like, being rudely dismissive of her, "oh, classic Tails."
Hey, Tails. Honestly, this is still kind of one of those funny little, like, gotcha moments when you're initially playing the game, because you're not initially expecting to see classic Tails until, he pops up in in a later cutscene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like one, like, I know it's not going to change the game in any ways, but just like a little missed opportunity. Now that we have like full 3D models of them, I would have appreciated if they used this opportunity to also have like classic Amy and Knuckles here too.
Yeah.
Which would have been nice, though. It does beg the question, how would they have serviced the story?
I mean,
Honestly, they would have serviced the story as well as Knuckles and Amy did themselves.
I guess.
Alright, off to Sonic 3!
Let's just say my
And I'm
favorites.
mad this was an Ice Cap Hill. Sorry, I was rambling there, Doug. Continue.
No, it's fine. I mean, like, I agree, but on the same token, I'm fine with it just because I feel like the execution for Sky Sanctuary here in both Classic and Modern is just sublime.
Listen, Logan, I'm just gonna tell you straight up. It would have been hard times on Sega if they actually tried their damnedest to get Ice Cap into the game.
I know.
Well, you know what? Here, do a workaround. Like, base it a little bit more off the... Like, obviously keep elements of the Three Knuckles version, but there's also a Sonic Adventure level called Ice Cap. Borrow elements from it.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Doug, what do
I
you
mean,
think?
I would have been fine with that if they didn't already use Speed Highway for the Sonic Adventure-centric level.
What did you think about? What do you think about Sky Sanctuary, Doug? Sorry, I'm interrupting you earlier.
No worries.
No, I was even about this. Well, before I like Sky Sanctuary, and I was even about to bring up my favorite tracks from Act 1 and 2 because we clearly skipped mine. But
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I do like Radical Highway from 3DS Generations, of course, classic. And from modern, I would have to say Crisis City because that one just pops for me. I do like the thrill of certain stages that would just get me going.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright, you got this. Oh.
Oh, well, that was worth a shot.
So Crisis City is definitely up there for me.
Yeah. Oh.
If I
So-
were to pick mine in particular, classic-wise, I would probably have to go with... Let me think. There's Green Hill, there's Chemical Plants.
City Escape?
Honestly, Green Hill's kind I mean, there's... Yeah, there's that, and there's... honestly, I'd honestly go with the boring bitch answer and just pick Green Hill Zone.
That's fair.
With
Nothing wrong with Green
Modern
Hill.
Sonic, though, that would be a little tougher to pick, because there's a couple of favorites I have on his end, like Crisis City. Actually, you know what? No. Going back to Classic real quick, I just remembered. I do like... if I were to pick a favorite there, it would be City Escape.
City
Modern
Escape.
Sonic, though, I'd probably go with either Crisis City or Seaside Hill Zone.
Yeah,
Those are
Seaside
good choices,
Hill.
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I realize I'm watching now, and I guess I realize now why Sky Sanctuary is probably a better choice as well. A, for the locale, and B, that I want to say this was the first level in Sonic quote-unquote history that like played with like, hear me out here, like environmental storytelling of like you're playing the stage as you're watching the Death Egg first come into view and stuff in the
Well,
background.
Sonic 3
and
Knuckles
whatnot.
definitely, like, I guess you could make an argument of Sonic 1 and 2 sort of doing it, but 3 Knuckles was definitely where they, like, went to town with it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is a very pivotal point. Also, have fun replaying this level 3 times.
Oh,
for
that's
those additional
so
rings.
annoying. Really?
You're lucky you're a fun level, otherwise I'd smack you.
Yeah.
Oh well. Nice.
They make you really search for those alternate pathways, which some would consider like the best part of the classic Sonic design.
True. And again, like why I love Generations as like a 3D Sonic platformer is that they got really creative with the levels and making them feel like deep to explore. Like the problem with Forces that everyone will like regard is that they're either way too short or the levels were far too linear that you may as well have just been in a hallway holding the boost button down.
Right, and
Yeah.
and then there's also, and honestly, it's kind of a similar thing with Unleashed way back when, because like with how super duper fast that game was, it kind of just made it really there wasn't really no semblance of exploration with that gameplay style. Whereas
Gosh.
you got Generations here, which felt like a nice middle ground.
Because gosh, like that is as much as I honestly think that game is gorgeous. My least favorite aspect of that game is the whole Sun Moon Metal collection.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If
And
you
just
could,
for how much they really, really shove it down your throat. At least with the red rings, you purely get those for optional things. And I'm going to start.
Mulligan.
I'm not proud of just stumbling at that moment.
no, yeah,
That's
you're good.
okay.
But yeah, no, let it be optional. And oh yeah, I just noticed that the text there at the start. What are some of the like equipments that you chose and why?
Blast Off allows you to do a instant boost when the thing says go, which is pretty helpful. I mean, it's also just flashy in general. There's also probably the most important skill you should get in the game is athleticism.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just makes both classic and modern Sonic a little more. What's the word? Like it just makes their control a little better.
Yeah.
And there's also one for classic Sonic that I think is a damn near must, which allows you to take damage,
Oh,
lose your rings, but you don't, take your sweet time trying to get back up.
oh, okay,
Right.
that's good. No, stuck in the falling down animation.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm kind of pissed that the later Dreamcast era, Adventure era games decide to implement and just slow the pace down like nothing else.
Yeah.
It is an
Oh,
Aussie.
nice. It's so cool seeing this in action again. I am happy because I would have had to practice. I would not be this good at it right now. So speaking of that, originally when we were starting this, we thought we were only going to be critiquing the rewrites, and that sometimes it can be a little awkwardly handled. Another thing
in places.
Yes. Another thing that almost stopped this recording from happening on the day of the Switch 2's reveal was that... so James is currently recording this off of his Steam Deck, which, as you can see, handling just fine. Works really nicely.
Yep.
It's verified. It's all good. However, there was a recent update that... came out. It seemed to be either coinciding with that Shadow the Hedgehog movie stage or something else, but ever since that release, and I may have to probe James for information to go to all those forums and help those poor people out, because Sega still is very nervous about people apparently cheating or hacking the games that are purely non-competitive on an online leaderboard thing.
It's dumb.
So they were using Denuvo again. And
I mean, to be fair, Sega's just been using Denuvo for the longest time with all their games, and it's kind of just...
They won't listen to us when they say it's a toxic relationship. We're really concerned about them.
I just don't see the benefits, though.
Yeah, what sucks is that, especially now that, I mean, to this day, nobody's been able to properly, unhack Denuvo from the game. So I guess it means that Sega it's prompting Sega to keep to their guns, however much we don't want them to. But no, basically what happened is that for whatever reason is that like at some point or another, whenever I start up Sonic Generations proper, because mind you, the Sonic Generations portion of Sonic X Shadows Generations is considered a separate application that you activate from that fancy little menu we saw earlier.
Yes.
It's not tied into the game itself like Shadow Gens is. And at some point, I get this weird error that tells me that something went wrong, and that it's somehow anti-tamper related, which kind of led us to believe it was Denuvo's fault. Now, what's funny is that was the whole reason why we had to change plans for our session yesterday as of this recording, and
Thanks for the help. Not that I needed it. Now let's get some payback on that monster. Get in line, knucklehead. All right.
cute. Anyway, what was I saying? So what's funny is that was the reason why we had to change our plans for that session. And then literally today, like the next day, all I did, or no, it happened like at the night of it when it happened. It's like all I did was that I went to played the Shadow Story, a movie that you saw in one of the earlier sessions.
Yeah.
And then played a little bit of the Shadow Gens game for shits and giggles. And then for some reason, somehow, I guess that tipped the game to go, okay, he's cool. He can play Sonic Gens again.
So
we fooled you.
Just by watching that video and playing a little bit of the gameplay, it fixed it?
Essentially. I mean, I don't think if it's even the game itself. I think it was me just playing the Shadow Story movie. I think that's ultimately what did it, and I don't know why or what the correlation is, but, I mean, that's why we're able to record this game now.
Yeah.
We love Fucky Wucky.
Anyway, it's time to do what every Sonic Gens player loves to do, the challenges.
Well, it's funny, because, like, I mentioned this in the Shadow section. I think, ultimately, the challenges are, at least conceptually, a harmless addition. You know, give you a little extra thing to do, and, like, some of the challenges, to their cred, are actually really fun. Like, you know, like, some of them that involve, like, the power-ups that you can be able to get, like the elemental shields and whatnot, they're fun. And you know what, even some that are involving the friends, I think are really fun. Like, I don't know if James is going to show it off in the playthrough, but the one in Chemical Plant where you have Classic Tails fly you around, you know, it's very cute, very inventive. Like, those kind of challenges I think are fine. However, some of them, well, a lot of them being the friends ones, are also really tedious to go through.
I mean, I'm not entirely against the idea of having challenges, but I feel like it's something that should have been... It's... I don't know why, how properly... I think the whole thing with me is that this game only has, like, 3 major zones. And I feel like, while that's cool and all, I feel like they could have pushed out maybe 2 or 3 more after the fact. But, I don't know, I get... And I don't know how to properly explain it. I just think the challenges feel like it was clearly done to because they didn't have enough time to do anything else or whatever, or maybe
for padding purposes.
it felt like this all feels like padding. That's pretty much
Yeah.
all I can say on the matter. It feels like padding, and I feel like all that development time that was taken to make these probably could have been done to make maybe 1 or 2 more zones.
I guess. Well, I guess at that point, it's just a matter of like, what else would you really pull from the franchise to be represented in here?
Well, you could add in a level from Sonic CD, maybe add in a level from Shadow the Hedgehog, and maybe even add in a level from. I'm trying to think what other games were out.
Well,
that
maybe
were
one of
out
the
at the
storybook
time.
games.
Yeah, like Secret
Yeah,
Rings.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because they definitely because if you noted earlier in the cutscene, they mentioned Secret Rings already. All right, Tails.
Yeah, speaking
so
of
they already
CG,
mentioned Secret
that
Rings
would have been
as-
my favorite fucking stage without no bars.
yeah. Honestly,
No matter
honestly,
which
yeah,
one
I'm
it
so-
was.
In hindsight, yeah, especially because Mania tried to show it some love at least. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised CD was never mentioned in this.
I mean, the closest thing we get to a CD level is fighting Metal Sonic.
Right?
Yeah,
which
that's
I
really
forget.
it.
Do they? Which I forget. Do they remix his boss fight?
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they do. In fact, you could argue this is the game that instigated the whole notion of remixing Stardust Speedway.
Yay!
I'd
with
say
the
so, yeah.
vocals.
Well, whatever vocals the song originally had.
You know the ones.
Yeah, I think they're still. Yeah, the I think those are still there.
Oh yeah, it's still there.
Yay! Thank you, Doug.
But yeah,
You
no, that's
do.
just my general. That's just how I feel about the challenge acts in general. It's like I understand why they're here. I just get the feeling that if they wanted to, maybe I feel like it would have been more impactful if this game pushed out a little more into like the main stuff as opposed to adding in a bunch of side content while leaving the main campaign itself feeling as short as it is.
Well, what would have been wild is if there was an Act 3 and you basically fought a boss from each of the games, even if it was like a mini boss of sorts. Like
I
fought
know that was
the- like-
something that a lot of people speculated for the longest time.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been cool.
Like, say, if in this game you got to fight, the Act 3 boss from Green Hill, like the Wrecking Ball, like as modern Sonic in 3D, or you got to fight like the Driller car or something to like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
speaking of
hey.
Metal Sonic.
It's my boy. It's my son.
Yeah, you know why not?
Look how
Look
tiny
at
he
how
is.
already here.
look at how short he is.
Oh wait a minute, I'm the wrong Sonic.
There you
Don't
go.
Yeah,
you
you-
make fun of him how short he is?
No, dude, Metal Sonic has never been this short. I don't know what the hell
He's
freaking
so
Sonic you were
cute.
smoking at the time. Like that head to body ratio is
He
insane.
came out of a little gotcha ball.
Well, I think the thought process is that they were trying to be consistent with classic Sonic's proportions, since this is technically a classic Sonic era metal.
I mean, fair. At
That
the
too.
same time, though, I guess I don't know. I feel like they could have done a little better with it. But I mean, all the same, we're not here to talk about.
Whoop.
We're not here to talk about Metal Sonic's big-headedness. We're here to actually beat him up.
Yeah.
So how do we beat up a Metal Sonic?
Ow.
I mean, how do we just beat him the same old way we did before? Race him.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this time there's no goal. Instead, the goal is to literally, bounce on him when he's not doing his little shock attack there.
Yeah.
Yeah, be wary
Yeah,
of
no,
that.
honestly, like, I feel like, just to spoil ahead, like, some of the bosses, some of them are fine or whatnot. I think a Metal Sonic boss is probably one of my favorite bosses in the game.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Just keep on moving. And you just beat him the fuck up.
And this time there's no spike traps to worry about.
Oh boy.
Thank God.
Or laser, but you are gonna fall down if you're not careful.
Almost there. Come on.
You have zero
Good
rings, so be
job.
careful.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
I think one thing I would say with the Metal Sonic classic design is that if they made it a little bit more accurate to how it was in CD, I would have been fine with that.
Okay, that.
Like the Toei style.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Also, rats. I forgot about that. I forgot about his desperation move there.
That's like the. Man, I feel like I should revoke my Sonic card. I usually never lose to this guy.
It's all good. We're
Listen, you're
talking. We're
fine.
focusing.
It's the recording curse.
Damn it, Murphy, you had to do this to me.
I mean, okay. So once again, like the background looks cool, and again, like Sonic CD, like If you had to choose one stage from Sonic CD apart from Stardust Speedway, like what would you have chosen to like get the remake treatment?
Collision Chaos, maybe.
Yeah. I remember hearing, I don't know what interview it was from. It might have been someone just like spouting nonsense. But apparently Izuka mentioned that he would have liked to have had Weki Workbench.
That would
Would have been interesting. I won't deny that.
that would have been interesting. My pick, honestly, would have been Quartz Quadrant.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, that would have been really cool.
Yeah,
If not, especially for the theme alone.
the theme alone is
Oh,
fantastic.
boy.
I love it.
You could have even done something really
There you go.
nice. You could have even done
Nice.
something cool like have classic
Now I'll
Sonic.
show you.
Damn. You could have even done something cool like have classic Sonic race through Good Future or have modern Sonic race through Bad Future or something.
Oh, that would have been really cool. Yeah.
Or just play with time travel in general. Like, oh gosh, like imagine seeing the past, future transition like in 3D, like in the middle of a stage
Yeah.
or something.
That would have been real sweet.
That would be a fever dream for me.
So for our efforts, we get a Chaos Emerald. As per usual.
Thanks,
you collect
buddy.
all 7, you can turn to Super. Of course, that's not going to really matter until the end of the story.
So yeah, we're required. We need to find them all. But that was the second one. So where's the first one hiding?
The first one's hiding at the boss that's hiding behind the boss gate that we need to unlock, which is the main factor of why we're having to go through these challenges.
All
Yeah,
right.
we need to get all the. We need to find 3 keys, which are found throughout this portion of Light Space, and to earn them, you have to clear one of the challenges that appear after you're done with all 3 zones.
And yeah, and like I said, we mentioned it in the Shadow playthrough. It doesn't matter like whether it's classic Sonic or modern Sonic, as long as you complete at least one challenge from each of the 3 levels, you pretty much get that level's key.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Doug had to deal with all challenges for those keys.
I mean, they're pretty easy to go for anyway for me, so that wasn't really much of a bother.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the worst
Okay.
thing in the world, but I do agree, maybe it didn't need to be that.
Even if I missed fucking Kingdom Valley's second portion of it by mistake.
Man.
So the
Don't you just hate when that happens?
Yeah.
so I think it is cute that they still had Colleen like basically like voice like both versions of Tails, like just one clearly more younger than the other.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if anyone else agrees with me on this. I honestly think she does a better classic Tales than Kate Higgins did back when she voiced them.
I think that's fair.
I'll have to take your word on that, because I'd have to compare the 2 side by side to see whether I agree or not.
Kathleen sounds more childish by comparison.
Right. I think it's the pitch and because I think back because honestly I feel like at the time and I thought that was part of the joke. I thought in the original game I thought classic and modern Tales sounded too similar to each other. My opinion anyway.
Thanks, buddy!
Nice. You succeeded. Yay.
Now get out of here.
Success!
And again, otherwise doing all the challenges just nets you, collectibles and goodies and whatnot.
Yep. What is this?
But for the heck of it, because I'm kind of a weird shit like that, I'll show off all the friends levels.
Yeah, I noticed that little like texture load in just then. But anyway, whoa! And they made this doing something else. And besides, this playthrough is going to be a little bit longer than the Shadow one because a few more stages, more cutscenes, and b more properly defined like chapters of sorts that James can cover.
Right.
Like this session won't be too terribly long, considering we're only just dealing with like the first.
The classic era,
We're dealing
yeah.
with the classic era for now. Then next session we can do the adventure era, and then finally we could do the quote-unquote boost era.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what did you think of oh yeah, James, what did you think of all the different character models you can unlock?
Different character models? Oh, you mean the ones that you get from...
Yeah, like the Sonics.
Those I think are pretty cool. And I mean, I'm kind of grateful that... my patience was well worth it, considering I was able to get a Jam Sonic for free.
Yeah.
Nice.
As did Logan, even though for him it was kind of a bittersweet thing to go through.
I had to try a lot because I accidentally deleted the original email.
Oops.
Nice
And I
going.
had to like on the fly use my alt email that I thankfully had to quickly basically just get the code so I could have the Jam Sonic because it's like Jam Sonic and then what was what was Monos? Oh, yeah, so it was Classic Sonic and turned to Jam Sonic, which is still nice. I like it because the idea of like it was the first 3D Sonic we got at the time, and
Right.
Definitely one of the first.
And Monstar turns into Adventure Sonic.
right, which is a reference to what could have been.
Yep, what could have been. Alas, they couldn't meet Ryan Drummond's demands.
And by demands they mean not be stubborn and actually pay his union.
And actually hire
Exactly.
them, yeah. That's why they hire only certain actors because they're union free. And all right, let's race Knuckles. Oh no, we're not racing Knuckles. We are going to be racing
Amy!
Okay, topsy turvy.
Speaking of the skins, are you going to be showing them next session?
Not a big fan of this one. Just because the way that these tops handle is kind of horse poo.
Yeah, they don't run under the exact same logic as what they did in Three Knuckles, I imagine.
Professor James. Duggan was asking the class a question.
Oh, sorry, what's up, Doug?
Are you going to be showing the skins in the next session?
Oh, yeah, I'll be showing them off in the next session. I mean, it only seems appropriate considering that was when both those skins actually were relevant.
Yeah, Curses.
There it is.
Ah.
You know, you can spin dash and make those go faster.
Can they?
Ow!
Oh! Okay.
Bye, Amy.
Okay, that was your own fault. You ran into that one.
But yeah, if you spin dash those, it goes faster and higher.
Ah.
But that's all nice and cool. Though I'm pretty sure the original Sky Sanctuary didn't have these things.
Well, they did. These were strictly from Marble Garden.
I know it.
Technically, yeah, you're right. They were the spinning tops. What an odd time to bring them back in a zone they don't belong in.
Ooh,
Yeah.
actually, that reminds me. That's another thing I'm curious about. Speaking of celebrations of things, is if whatever this new Sonic racing game we're getting, maybe like a celebration,
Crossworlds.
maybe a celebration of other racing titles, since there was that like Air Gear that we noticed.
Right.
There's an Air Gear, and there was Shadow on his sweet hot rod going into a very, very Hollywood-esque city.
I still can't believe I fucking called that out immediately.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was
I-
I didn't realize it was gonna be a racing game, but I'm down for it. I really, really hope it'll be more like Transformed.
Well, they already confirmed that they're bringing back the vehicle changing mechanic from Transformed.
Thank you. That was
was
seriously the one thing that they were grossly missing in Team Sonic Racing, and it fucking...
It was so
that
cool.
game was so, that game was so mid as shit because of all the things they removed and the things they added in return.
Yeah.
Just
But no.
wasn't. It just didn't feel quite as good. And I mean, it also didn't help either that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel was right around the corner.
Yeah. Certainly
Hey.
hope Sega doesn't come across that issue again, right, Mario?
Donkey Kong.
Okay, I mean, we talk a little bit about more so like, hey, as Arlo pointed out, a new hit rumor: the Switch 2 may have actually just been officially shown.
It may have been.
Yes, allegedly. It was a joke about
Possibly.
every
Like,
single
people.
every single
People are
little
still
rumor.
skeptical about it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm curious about it, and I think it was you, James, or Mecca, or someone who mentioned that. Assuming that the games that aren't going to be compatible are really like just a small handful, I probably will be okay with just replacing my Switch with it.
Probably the
That
same.
was what I was planning to do. Because honestly, outside of like WarioWare Move It and like the 1-2 Switch games that nobody cares to acknowledge,
And Labo.
What else is there that? And the Labo stuff. Like, what else is there that
Ring
the
Fit.
IR sensor really?
Ring Fit Adventure.
Ooh, okay, that might be the one exception.
Well, you know what? They'll rectify it by making Ring Fit Adventure 2.
They probably will.
That is, I can totally believe they will.
I mean, because if I'm not mistaken, Ring Fit Adventure sold relatively decently, didn't it?
oh yeah.
Especially when the pandemic. Honestly, when the pandemic hit hype, since all the legitimately, like, here's the true story. When the pandemic hit, because a lot of the gyms were closed, Ring Fit Adventure, at least where I lived, it was completely sold out. I had to order mine like from Japan.
I still remember Steely going through a similar thing of trying to find that game to no avail.
Right. So that is my one bummer is I own Ring Fit Adventure, so I will have to get rid of it, and mainly not even the IR sensor. It's the fact of note the Joy-Cons are going to be larger, so anything that was designed with the Joy-Con dimensions in mind, like the ring or a lot of the Labo constructions. The Switch 2 Joy-Cons just aren't going to fit.
I will say though, going back to the Joy-Cons, I mentioned it a few times. Oh, you can not care about the rings anymore, or coins. One thing that I do like about the new Joy-Cons is that apparently it's now fitted in a way where you know how you usually
go?
need like an accessory to clip on the Joy-Con in order to use it sideways, kind of like a Wiimote sideways. Now those extra buttons are just kind of like hard-baked onto the controller. You don't need that accessory to have those buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny considering that the Switch, like the Joy-Con, the original Joy-Cons themselves already had something like that already, but they were practically little nubs.
Yeah.
Right. Palm Tree Panic, nice.
Hey.
Whoa.
All right, I think with that said, we more or less have done all the Friends missions that we can, and I'm pretty sure people are going to be asking me, why don't you do something else for a change? Nah, I just want to give the Friends more attention.
Yeah.
Oh, there is also this, which is an enormous waste of time.
Oh yeah,
okay.
the Casino Night inspired pinball, which was apparent. I think it was originally like a pre-order exclusive, wasn't it?
Either pre-order or it might have been something they added on later. I don't immediately remember what was the context behind it, but it's the only real thing of note with it is its epic like remix of a
I guess that makes sense because I didn't even consider that. Generations doesn't actually have a casino stage.
Not really, no.
Unless you're looking at
Alright.
3DS.
True, yes. So it's time to enhance the plot a little bit and realize.
Oh? Huh. Was I always this short?
Tom.
Was I always that fat?
Oh, I just looked it up for Casino Night. It was a DLC.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
Good look at yourself, Sonic.
Dr. Eggman!
It's the last
Hey man. Oh, there it
oh,
goes.
it's like line.
Oh,
What the?
Sonic, what? Wait a second!
Too late.
And where's Classic hops in,
Ow!
Modern Sonic was a little too slow in the uptake.
Yeah,
Oh, I missed.
the two of them aren't going to get to work together just yet. You gotta wait your turn.
Not till next time, Modern. You're gonna have to wait for your younger self to take care of the threat in the Death Egg.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Speaking of
The
which,
Death Egg. Oh.
now available at your local Target.
Yeah. Man, you
I
know
hate
what?
Death
If it
Egg.
wasn't for the fact that Sonic 4 sort of recycled this already, this would have been like an amazing comeback for the Death Egg bot.
Yeah.
yeah,
For real.
I mean, granted, this looks a hell of a lot better than the one that they brought in Sonic 4.
Yeah. Also, just a more fun fight in general.
Agree.
Oh. I was about to think. I was also thinking out loud that like, although I wish there was a little bit more coloration or colorization in it. I also liked what the. Oh,
Ow.
I also like how the Death Egg looked in Sonic the movie too.
Oh yeah, the Death Robotnik.
Yeah. Ooh. Come on.
Any day now.
Jump. And boom.
Man, don't you just gotta love how overpowered the spin dash is in this game?
Hell
Oh, it's a
yeah.
lot of fun. Like, especially if you know how to use it in certain places, you can, like, decimate levels with it.
Hey, now we're in 3D.
For real.
I was gonna say because
It's
oh, wait.
uh-oh. Ow.
Oh. Did that count?
No,
No,
it
unfortunately.
didn't.
Careful, you have no rings. Okay.
Why'd
What
they
the-
do that?
Oh.
Thanks.
Oh, the heck with this. I'm going to a different one.
Okay. Ah,
There
I
we
see.
go.
Make
I
him
gotta-
target
I
the
gotta
wrong
be
round
quick.
thing, and
Yep. Jump.
bah.
Man.
You're good. But I think one benefit of the spin dash is that you don't have to be crowded anymore, or you don't have to be crouched to do it. You can just do it right off the bat. I think.
Yeah, it has its own hot button like the adventure games did.
Nice.
I mean, it also helps too. It's attached to the dash button.
Yeah.
And just like that, the Death Egg robot goes up in smoke.
Get a sudden feeling of deja vu.
I'm sure he's fine.
Wow, he's dead.
Did I just kill a man?
I think I just killed. Oh no.
Tails, am I a monster?
I think I killed a living being.
He's torched.
Man. Well, hey, at least I got an S rank.
Hey, everything.
Also, a immediate change from the original script, let alone the original cutscenes.
Well,
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
It's not a secret anymore.
yeah, because like in the vanilla game, they tried to keep classic Eggman like shrouded for some dumb reason.
Help me!
No thanks, I'm good.
Goodbye, classic Eggman. Looks like you're out of a job.
Well, that was weird.
Well, my franchise is over.
Oh.
Or is it?
Meanwhile, Modern's been waiting patiently.
Couldn't have done it better myself.
Doesn't quite come across as naturally as I can't believe there's two of me.
Yeah.
Older versions of us. Places and enemies from our past. We're traveling through time, Sonic.
Oh.
Time and space.
Without the time stones?
Technically, you never really did travel through time through the time stones.
Can consume time.
I think that's also
technically.
new. I don't know if the first.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
new.
if I don't know if the original game remembered the time stones, but that's fair.
It didn't.
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't call upon the time stones.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny, like, that was one of the bigger problems that people had with Generation Story back then, is that, like, it wasn't referential enough. And now we have this game where it definitely crams in a few more references, but some would argue that, like, the references themselves are a little hand-fisted even for a story like Generations.
Yeah.
Track it down, and fast.
Well, on the bright side, at least they made sure to give Roger a better mic.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Yeah, because that was so shitty back then.
It was like heavily compressed or something.
Very.
Very, yeah, and it started.
It really depended.
It started with that cutscene further on.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't for the whole thing, but it definitely felt like it was very condensed or compressed in certain areas.
All right. Well, that you got yourself the green emerald.
You know what? We haven't even scratched an hour. Do you want to just keep going with the adventure?
I'm fine.
You are for the dogger, nah.
Fucking overdrive.
That's right. All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
But first,
Oh.
these two could use a quick makeover.
Okay.
Fashion party!
This is one hell of a fashion party, huh?